Good afternoon, everybody. We're here to talk about worship this coming Sunday at St. Andrew. It's been exciting for the church as we've begun to expand our attendance and those that can come. It's starting to feel a little bit more like normal life again in the life of the church. And you may remember I started a sermon series. It started back on May 30th, but there was 2 Sundays Denise was preaching. We had Youth Sunday, all great things. And so I'm picking that sermon series back up this coming Sunday for June 20th and again on the 27th. And the sermon series is called Upside Down Thinking. And in Mark's Gospel in chapter 10, Jesus offers some real kind of, at least in his time, some very unique, different ways of thinking of how we behave in connection to one another. The previous sermon on the 30th of May, I talked about, unless you're like a child, using children as the benchmark for human behavior, which was kind of very odd to the world in which Jesus lived. That why would you use children as the example? Shouldn't it be a white male that's the example? And so Jesus kind of reverses thinking. In this particular week, there's kind of 2 passages that kind of blend together, which I'll be preaching kind of from both. The first is the story of the rich young ruler, and he's wanting to know, how do I inherit eternal life? And then the disciples go into questions about who's first, who's last, who's most important. And Jesus says, those that are first will be last, and the last will be first. And it kind of cuts against the grain of how we think. So, well, if I run a race and I get first, I'm first, right? And yet, when it comes to the way society works, Jesus says, we might want to reevaluate what it means to live in community. Maybe those that are first, why are they first? Are there certain things that help them be first versus not being first? And Jesus kind of turns the tables in this reflection of who's first, who's last, and what order we think of ourselves in. It's a total realignment of our place in society and how we think about ourselves and how we think about ourselves in relation to others. So it should be an interesting way to reflect on not only what was it like in Jesus' day, but what parts of that thinking are still relevant for us in terms of who's first, who's last, and how are people included. So I hope you'll join us on Sundays. We delve further into this upside down thinking that Jesus offers us. Hope to see you Sunday.